This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, an Invercargill dairy was robbed just before closing time last night when two men armed with hammers burst into the store. Delegates at an irrigation conference in Alexandra are discussing proposals to increase irrigation in the Central Otago area. And members of an American First Nation tribe visited South Canterbury where the Chinook salmon were first introduced to New Zealand rivers. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. An Invercargill dairy was robbed just before closing time last night when two men armed with hammers burst into the store. Sharon Rees has an exclusive interview with one of the employees.
Pomona Street Dairy in Invercargill was the target of an armed robbery last night. Employees said the owner of the dairy was about to close the shop at around 9:55 p.m. when two men armed with hammers entered the store.
Two males have entered the store and continued to go around behind the counter, and that's when the boss who was on has exited the store and gone to get help. And as far as we know, smokes have been taken. That's all we can really say so far.
The dairy's owner said the masked men chased him from the store, but neighbours were alerted by his screams for help and called police. Glover said she believed rising tobacco prices had put all dairy owners at risk.
I think it's been a concern. Yeah, it's definitely a concern for everyone. It's what's going to happen now if they keep going up, which puts us at risk.
She said employees of the store had been shaken up by the robbery and would be closing the dairy earlier from now on. A dog unit was deployed to track the men last night but did not find them, and police investigations are continuing. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
Police are asking anybody with information that can help with this inquiry to contact Constable Kerry McSkimming of Invercargill Police. The Dunedin City Council is to demolish a house it bought for $1.7 million 3 years ago to make way for flood protection work on the Taieri. The council plans to eventually rezone the land and sell it for grazing. Rob de Groot Green lives at the property with his wife and 4 children and is not happy to be given a 90-day notice to vacate the property. He says while he understands the council is legally able to evict his family, he feels it's morally wrong. A conference on agricultural irrigation was held in Alexandra this week. Several of the topics looked at proposals to increase irrigation in the Central Otago area. The South Today found out more.
This week's irrigation conference in Alexandra saw plenty of discussion about new irrigation schemes for Central Otago. Irrigation New Zealand Chief Executive Andrew Curtis points out there are many stakeholders in the quest for more water.
Central Otago is a wonderful showcase for irrigation. It's the diversity of it, it's the wine, it's the cherries, it's the apples, along with sheep and beef and also some dairy as well.
However, the fact that irrigation has become somewhat of a dirty word is not lost on him.
The big challenges are just showing to people that we have moved to be environmentally sustainable and that we are supported by our community and that we can remain viable through doing this over the long term.
The new Labour-led government has made good on one of its election promises of not funding any new irrigation proposals. This is a source of disappointment for Central Otago District Mayor Tim Cadogan.
Whether the nation has been well enough informed about the link, if there is one, between irrigation and pollution or irrigation and degradation of waterways, and don't get me wrong, there is a link there, but it's not always there. So for me, I think it's a great shame that the government funding in Crown irrigation has been lost.
One of the projects affected by new government policy is the proposal to raise the Manuherikia Valley's Falls Dam by 6 metres. It has already cost an eye-watering $1.5 million to complete just the first stage of the feasibility study into raising the dam. Manuherikia Catchment Water Strategy Group Chairman Alan Kane says funding the second phase of the feasibility study will now be difficult.
The capital cost will still be able to be afforded by the farmers. It's just that we're going to have this period on the last of the sort of feasibility analysis to get it towards construction that we're going to have a major issue in trying to see that we can fund that.
If it goes ahead, the Falls Dam project will help provide irrigation for over 12,000 hectares of land. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
The Dunedin City Council has given Mondelez permission to move Cadbury World from its existing position in Cumberland Street to the refurbished historic dairy building in Castle Street. The relocation is expected to result in the attraction being 6 times larger and doubling the number of staff from 25 to 50 people. When manufacturing ended and the factory closed recently, about 360 staff, including seasonal workers, lost their jobs. In a bid to return salmon to their sacred river, members of a First Nation tribe visited the Hakataramia hatchery, where the Chinook salmon were first introduced to New Zealand rivers. Winnem Wintu hereditary chief and spiritual leader Callum Sisk were in South Canterbury to learn the history of the McHenry Roads hatchery, where American salmon were released in the McLeod River in 1901.
American First Nation people, the Winnem Wintu tribe, claim a sacred connection to Chinook salmon, as eggs from the salmon were brought to New Zealand in 1901. Hereditary Chief Colleen Sisk says there are about 120 Winnem Wintu people. In California, a delegation of Winnem Wintu performed a sacred dance to communicate with the fish.
That put down our message to the salmon, that when we put our drums in the ground, that we sent that message out, the vibration for the salmon that are here to recognize that, you know, we're coming from the McLeod River from which they came, and that we're making a way for them to come home.
Sisk hopes they'll be allowed to take DNA samples back later this year and once again have Chinook salmon swimming in home rivers. In June last year, the tribe started a crowdfunding campaign for the Salmon Restoration Project and in 10 months raised more than $86,000. Retired Fish and Game Officer Graham Hughes is sure these salmon are related to the eggs brought to the area in 1901 and believes the tribe will get the evidence needed to relocate the fish.
If our historians are correct and they were winter run fish, there have been no other fish here, no other salmon from any other catchment. So they've got to be here. Yeah, so I'm pretty confident that that'll happen.
Despite the ease with which salmon were taken from the Beard hatchery on the McLeod River in 1901, American regulations now require DNA evidence to show the fish belong in the McLeod River in California. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, Wanaka residents hope new flashing signs installed at a busy intersection will help to prevent collisions. And an Invercargill wrestler gears up to take on a world champion this weekend.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikorai Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477 1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. Why wait for seed to germinate? Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
Welcome back. Wanaka residents are pleased flashing advance warning signs will be installed at the intersection of Ballantyne and Riverbank roads. Mount Barker Residents Association Chairman Jerry Rowley says he and others noticed drivers seeming unaware of the stop sign at the intersection. He hopes the advance warnings will reduce the number of collisions. The signs use LED lights and movement detection sensors to alert drivers to upcoming stop signs. A Southland wrestler will be taking on a world champion in Invercargill this weekend. Southern Pro wrestler Kane Khan will take on Progress Wrestling world champion Travis Banks at Battle Lines on Saturday night. Sharon Rees has more.
Southern Pro wrestler Kane Khan will meet his wrestling idol on Saturday night. But he's got more than just a handshake in store for Progress Wrestling world champion Travis Banks.
Travis Banks, he's sort of been my hero ever since I started this. He's the Kiwi who's gone on to do bigger and better things, so we're kind of walking down the same path as him. So he is my hero, but come Saturday, I'm going to go punch my hero in the face.
Banks, who is known as the Kiwi Buzzsaw, is a New Zealand wrestler who has made a name for himself while living in the UK. Southern Pro Wrestling co-founder Troy Crosby said Banks has come full circle by returning to Invercargill for the match.
He was on our very first show here for SPW back in 2015 in the very first match. So it's really sort of come full circle, and it's quite amazing to think that a Kiwi has gone across the world, become a world champion, and now can come back to New Zealand and put a spotlight on SPW and what we're doing.
Khan said he has never gone up against someone at Banks' level before, but that this weekend could be his chance to reach the top.
Hopefully this Saturday is good as big as him, maybe even bigger. If I take his bout, then there's no arguing that.
It'll be close. It'll be brutal, and I'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be one on the line, so we'll have to wait and see.
Southern Pro Wrestling's Battle Lines will be held at the Invercargill Workingmen's Club on Saturday night. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
15-year-old Mount aspiring student Luca Georgelli isn't your typical teen. He spends a lot of his time in the garage at home in Wanaka growing and creating kokodamas. His indoor plants business, which has been running for 5 years, is about to go up another level. Here's Mina Amso with the story.
He might be the envy of his friends, earning good money off his very own planting business at 15. But Wanaka boy Luca Giorgelli says his job is both stressful and relaxing.
It's pretty fun. I love earning my own money and not having to ask mum for money whenever I go out for like dinner with my friends or going to the movie.
Luca has severe dyslexia and trouble with memory, but says when it comes to plants, it's different.
So with plants, I remember all these massive names like Monstera deliciosa, Osa, Echeveria, Tillandsia stricta. Like I have so many names of plants and how to look after them in my head because I love it and I enjoy it.
The Mount aspiring college pupil leads a busy life, studying and looking after his indoor forest planting business.
If it's like a week before the markets, I just don't really do any homework. I just go straight to make kokedama making.
It all started 5 years ago when Luca won a school planting competition, and from there on began growing his own indoor plants, like these mozzie hanging structures inspired by the Japanese bonsai. This is a ficus plant. It's been made into this kokedama design. It's medium-sized. Luca can make 5 of those in 5 hours. They cost from $35 to up to $120 each. He sells them at the Remarkables Market in Frankton and on his new website, The Indoor Forest. On a good day, he sells 15 of those.
I hope to expand, not just making kokedama, but like eventually selling my own plants and propagating my own plants and having massive glass houses.
Luca has taken up horticulture in school through correspondence and plans to attend a planting internship in Bangkok in 2 years. Mina Amso, The South Today.
After the break on The South Today, a Waimate potato farmer digs deep to help Tongan families hit hard by Cyclone Gita, and we have tomorrow's weather for you.
Put your seatbelts on for this one and rev it up. Thursday night is Motorsport Night. Proudly brought to you by multi-award-winning Garador.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477-1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
Oh, I'm not happy with this product demonstration, Ralphie. Oh, relax. It's all about balance. The balance between softness and strength. And my balance is perfect. So we won't fall? Of course not.
Hi, Ralphie.
Oh, hey, you. Whoa. You fell for it. Yep, I fell for it. Cotton Softs. Softness and strength you can trust. I'm Cotton Soft on the environment too.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
wait for seed to germinate. Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Thanks for staying with us. A Waimate potato farmer is digging deep to help Tongan families hit hard by Cyclone Gita. Jeff Bruce of Kathinas Farm has donated a pallet of potatoes to the Church of Tonga Timaru in support of its latest fundraiser. The initiative has been held alongside a collection drive to gather items needed by families affected by the cyclone, which hit the island in late February. Jeff Bruce read about the project and decided to donate 80 10-kilogram bags of potatoes from his crop, saying farmers like him can sympathise with people who have suffered due to the weather. Young actors got a chance to show off their Shakespearean skills at the Aoraki Heats in Geraldine recently. The South Today went along for a bit of a highbrow education.
The Sheila Wynne Shakespeare competition in Geraldine last week saw pupils strutting the stage as well as fighting in the audience with scenes from some of the plays regularly studied at secondary school. Performances included Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet,
A madam from the reach of his hands might not grudge my cousin's death,
as well as an updated version of Taming of the Shrew.
Well, have you heard? It's such hard hearing.
The competition was won by Geraldine High School pupils for their rendition of Macbeth.
Macbeth, Macbeth, beware!
Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. An Invercargill dairy was robbed just before closing time last night when two men armed with hammers burst into the store. Delegates at a conference on irrigation held in Alexandra this week looked at proposals to increase irrigation in the Central Otago area. And in a bid to return salmon to their river, members of an American First Nation tribe visited the South Canterbury hatchery where Chinook salmon were introduced to New Zealand. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us?
Hello, Melissa. Well, we take a look at the Dunedin rental property market, and we have discovered that it is at breaking point. So we talked to the key players, unhappy renters, industry and politicians about the situation. So have a look at that tomorrow. Interesting reading. It's very tough out there to get rental accommodation. And what is wrong with the Stewart Street lights in Dunedin, which of course isn't too far from us, but traffic jams throughout the day. So we have uncovered what the problem is, and you'll be able to read about that.
Good, I want to know about
tomorrow.
That too.
Well, I'm not going to tell you, you'll have to read about it. So we also have a story about Dunedin residents, Brisbane residents saying that Dunedin needs to do work a lot harder to promote the southern city on Queens, to put the southern city on Queensland's radar. I'm having trouble with this one. On Queensland's radar. So the Trans-Tasman flights, they're saying that Dunedin needs to do a lot more work promoting itself to that market. Another 5 levels of scaffolding is coming down from First Church. And so we check up by the weekend apparently, and so we check up and get an update on the repair work happening there, see where it's at. Big sports lift out tomorrow. Highlanders of course playing the Blues, and the Highlanders are a little weary of wounded Blues. They haven't had a particularly good run, but we're not taking anything for granted apparently. We also talked to Otago provincial player Michael Collins, who is a member of the Blues, so we find out what it is like in the Blues camp. Preview of club rugby throughout the South. So look out for that. We also have a variety of sports like orienteering, swimming, and lots of other stuff. So check out the sports lift out tomorrow.
Wonderful, and it's good to see that you've got a wide mix of sports in
Exactly.
there too. Thank
Yep,
you for
lots
that,
of
Barry.
sport.
And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Looking at the situation, Friday rolls around with a strong cold west to southwesterly airflow, still the dominant weather feature. The westerlies will ease over the weekend and die out early next week, with calmer, more settled weather on the way. Looking at what is in store for the southern towns, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden can expect strong wind showers with a high of 12. And as we move westwards to central, we see things are a bit sunnier there, but not much warmer. Everyone is in for strong winds and clear skies. Alexandra, a high of 14, 13 for Queenstown and Wanaka, and Tiana is the only one with showers, strong winds and a high of 11. Looking northward, it's fresh winds for everyone, some cloud along the coast, but fine inland. Timaru shows the Canterbury influence with a high of 18, cooler in Oamaru at 16, and quite a bit more chilly at Amarama and Twizel with a high of 13. In Dunedin, you should prepare for showers tonight with winds freshening and an overnight low of 9. Mostly cloudy and cool tomorrow with moderate to fresh winds, like a few sunny periods possible at times, but also a risk of isolated spitty showers, a high of 14 and a low of 9. Showers on Saturday morning will be clearing, but skies remaining mostly cloudy and temperatures rather cold, with strong winds, a high of 12 and a low of 8. And in Invercargill, it will be cloudy tonight with rain developing and strong winds and an overnight low of 8. Cloudy tomorrow with temperatures ranging between 12 and 7. And Saturday brings frequent showers, strong gusty winds, a high of 11 and a low of 7. And that's our news for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, you can follow us on Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Take care. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.